What's going on, Sports Nation? Welcome to another video presented by College Football Syllabus. This week is the first week of playoff rankings. We're going to drop ours right here, right now. You ready, Nate?
I am ready. I'm excited. Realistically, these playoff rankings don't actually mean anything, but it's a fun talking point. Let's go ahead and bust right down into my top 12. My playoff rankings are looking ahead. This is projected to the end of the season, not necessarily what we're going to see when the rankings come out, but how I think things are going to turn out in the end. At number one, I've got Ohio State. I think they're the best team in the country. I don't think there's really a question about it. Obviously, if they lose the Big Ten championship, we drop them here. But until that happens, I'm giving them the number one spot that they have earned so far. At number two, I got the SEC champion. I think it's going to be Alabama. It's whatever team wins the SEC is getting that number two spot. Whether it's Bama, whether it's A&M, whether it's Georgia, it's going right there. 3 and 4 right behind that is going to be the losers of the Big Ten and SEC championship respectively. So for me, I've got Indiana and Texas A&M taking those two spots. I think those top four are clearly going to the SEC and the Big Ten. It's just going to be the winners and the losers and how it dives out then. Do you agree with that?
Well, I somewhat agree with that. I think we have the right teams, but I'm not sure that I agree on the rankings here. I got Indiana because, I'm a believer that these rankings matter. Playoff matter. We're talking about playoffs. So for me, right now, as of today, Indiana is the number one team. They got the better resume. It's possible Ohio State beats them, but until that happens, just like you said, I'm gonna go roll with Indiana here. For my number two, I do have Ohio State, very strong team. They look good almost every game they played. After that, I have Texas A&M. I think they have a slight better resume than Alabama, and Alabama I got fourth.
Okay. I mean, realistically, there's even if that's an undefeated Big Ten championship game, the SEC winner is going to go up into that second spot. That's just those top four are going to be for the four of them, but I think it's going to be Big Ten, SEC, Big Ten, SEC.
Wouldn't
Right.
be an ESPN playoffs without them stating the SEC unfairly, of course.
I don't know what could possibly be unfair about that, but I digress. We move. My number five spot, I'm sticking with my homeboys. Georgia Bulldogs are getting that spot. Haven't looked the most impressive recently, but they're still getting the job done. Wins are wins. They look good. Georgia still has a tough test at the very end of the season against Georgia Tech. I don't think Georgia's going to be going to the SEC championships. So realistically, we end the season with one loss. I think Georgia belongs at that five spot, the first team without a bye. Right behind Georgia, I'm going with the Big 12 champion. And right now, I think it's Texas Tech. I can't wait for this weekend to see Texas Tech against BYU. That game's going to potentially set up a rematch in the Big 12 championship. But I think right now it's Texas Tech. I think they're the best team in the Big 12, so I'm going them right there at 6. Right behind them, I've got a couple power conference teams. Again, SEC and Big 10. These are the power conferences. Teams that are just outside of that championship spot. I've got Ole Miss at 7, and I've got Oregon coming in right behind them at 8. Thoughts on that?
Again, we're in line with the teams, just different order. I have, and I've been saying this every time we talk. Wins matter. Being undefeated matters. Give me BYU at number 5. Now this might change in 2 days, yes, but at this moment they deserve that number 5 spot. They look good. They found ways to win. Defense looks good. Offense looks good. They're just winners. And until they lose, I'm gonna slate them at 5. Right after that, I have Oregon. They look good. I know they don't have the strongest resume on paper, but every time I see them, on TV, on wherever, statistically, they look good. I don't know how they'll do when they stack up against another good team when they eventually play one, but I do like Oregon. I think they have a lot of potential, and they could easily just go into any field any day and take over. They could also lose by a lot. That's just how Oregon plays. Next up, I do have Georgia. Look, they have all the talent. They have all the 5 stars. They've gone to the playoff a bunch of times. They're the new Alabama of Georgia, of the SEC. So I get it. I have them on the 7th, but it would be a disservice to the rest of the SEC to say that they've looked as dominant as they have in the past, because they certainly have not.
Oh,
There's
for
some,
sure. This isn't the same Georgia team that won back-to-back national championships. I'm not going to argue that, but that's why I'm going to put them. They're the third best team in the SEC right now. I don't know if you can really make an argument otherwise.
no, for
I
sure.
mean,
I have them,
Georgia
I
beat Ole
have them
Miss already.
I have them at third as their best SEC team as well. And rounded off, I do have Ole Miss at 8. I want to put Ole Miss before Georgia, but that would be very contradictory to what I always preach. Games are decided on the field. I can't logically defend a scenario where someone tells me Ole Miss is better than Georgia because hey, they did play head to head. That game happened, so that's
Thank
how
you.
I got it. We got the same.
We weren't going to be friends. We're canceling the show if you tried to put Ole Miss ahead of
Not
Georgia
yet,
as
not
things
yet.
stand.
Go ahead and round out your last 12, our last four.
All right, so coming in right behind them, I've got my champion out of the ACC. I know this is not great timing considering what just happened on Saturday, but I am sticking with Georgia Tech. I'm not going to lie, I don't fully understand the ACC tiebreakers, and if you do, good for you. I've spent a lot of time trying to research it, and there's about 8 different things that the ACC uses. They don't make it easy for any of us. Right now, you've got UVA, who, despite losing to a team in their conference, doesn't have a conference loss. Explain that one to me. I don't know how. UVA is sitting there with no losses, and then we've got a glutton of teams with one loss in the ACC. I think that Georgia Tech is the best of those teams. Yeah, I think Georgia Tech still loses at the end of the season to Georgia to pick up their second loss. But that game really doesn't matter. It matters more for Georgia than it will for Georgia Tech because Tech, it's a win the ACC and you're in kind of thing. So it's put your ACC team here, whether it's UVA, whether it is Georgia Tech, whether it's Louisville, that's that spot. At number 10, it's gross. We've talked about it all season. We knew they were going to end up here. It's Notre Dame. Notre Dame is going to be in the playoff. If you haven't accepted that already, that's on you. There's a reason they're about minus 350 on the books to make the playoff at this point. Notre Dame's not losing another game. They've got two losses that are as good as any two losses. The Miami one doesn't look as great anymore, but it's still two great losses against really, really good opponents in close games. Notre Dame's getting that 10 spot for me. My number 11, take your pick. Right now, I have it as Oklahoma. I think that's where it's going to end up, but I could see a world where Vanderbilt still climbs their way back in. It's going to be that fifth SEC team. I don't think it's Texas just because of the schedule that Texas still has ahead of them. So I think it's going to be Oklahoma, but again, I could see Vanderbilt getting into that spot. I hate Missouri, but if Missouri wins the games they need to, they could play their way in. So I think it's going to pick your SEC team, but right now I got Oklahoma. And then at 12, I've got the Group of Five champion. I'm still leaning Memphis just because Memphis controls their own destiny. You still got some really fun teams in the American that are going to be competing for that spot. And don't look now, but San Diego State out of the Mountain West is looking dangerous. They have a chance. They don't have necessarily the schedule and the name brands that these American teams have, but don't be surprised if San Diego State finds a way to get into that 12 spot, be the Group of Five champion. Tan, give me your last four teams here. What you got?
Like here's the part where we really do. Uh, Uh, I do have Memphis at 12, just like you. That's the only thing we agree on. And I do agree that San Diego State is having a great year. They might sneak up in there. But at the moment, Memphis has beat the better schedule, and they'll probably have to beat Tulane and probably maybe a rematch with USF or maybe.
Tulane, the team that just got dog walked this past week.
Listen, I could say the same thing. Memphis got dog walked right before they upset USF. It
I don't.
happens.
Hey,
Being
they play this week. It's a fun game this week. That'll knock out Tulane for good.
We'll see. We'll see. I'm still. I got some Tulane belief in me still. I do think their coach is gone. Good is gone, and I think that probably plays a role. But number
True.
9, Texas Tech. I know you're gonna think this is crazy, but Big 12 has a chance to get 2. As of today, this would be the playoffs. Now they might change in 1 week.
There's
Shoot, there's just so much chaos. They might be in an ACC situation next week. But as of today, I think BYU is the better team. Texas Tech gets in as well. After that, again, as of today, UVA, they don't win pretty, but they win. I don't understand how this team still only has one loss. It doesn't make sense to me. Uh, 2013, we called the UCF Knights the Cardiac Knights. They were just last minute wins. They just found ways to win, and that's what UVA is doing. Hey, I was saying, right? Being luck doesn't exist. If you consistently put yourself in good situations, things just go your way. And that's how I see UVA right now. They're playing good ball. Doesn't always look pretty, but they know how to win. After that, I got Texas. But this one I'm not sold on. As of today, I'd put Texas in just because they beat Oklahoma. But they have not looked good to relative to their preseason expectations. So that could change anytime. And I know they got like 3 or 4 ranked teams coming up. So it's possible they barely make the bowl by then.
Texas plays Georgia And they play Texas A&M to end the season. That's 2 losses. Get out of here with Texas. I mean, if Texas wins those games, then by all means, yeah, they are up there. And we're not talking about them being 10th or 11th. We're talking about Texas being 5th or 6th at that point. I look, UVA is fun. I'm happy to see it being here in Charlottesville. It's fun to see UVA be competitive and be good. I I agree. It's not just luck anymore. Obviously, something they're doing the right things. They're putting themselves in position. I do think it comes crashing down at some point, and that's unfortunate. I don't think they're going to be our ACC rep. And like I said, with the Big 12, BYU's good, Texas Tech's good. One of those teams is going to lose this week. Like we said, that's either Texas Tech's second loss or that's BYU's first loss. Um, Cincinnati still only has 1 loss in the conference. There's someone's going to have two, unless you get an undefeated BYU, someone's going to have 2 losses at least in the Big 12. And I just don't think that that's enough to get the job done with the combination of Utah, Cincy, BYU, and Texas Tech holding up the conference. I don't see it.
Hey, it'd be great. I would love to see it. I know somewhere Greg Sankey would be losing his mind if Big 12 or ACC, for that matter, gets 2 in. My first three that are out in any particular order is Oklahoma, Georgia Tech, and Notre Dame. I think those are the next three that would easily be able to slide into
You
that.
didn't have Notre Dame in. Oh, Notre
I
Dame is making the playoff, my friend.
and
If you don't
look,
think Notre Dame's making it, you need to go place a fat wager right now, my friend.
listen. It's possible they're making it, but at this moment they wouldn't make it. Let me see them beat USC. Let me see them beat Navy, and let me see them cakewalk into this ridiculous scenario where we created where they have a free spot essentially. Because they certainly are not one of the top 12 teams in the nation. Can we agree on that?
I can't.
Oh,
They're playing great ball. They again look at their losses. They belong to be up here. I It is what it is. Notre Dame's making the playoff. If you don't think so, I'm telling you, you need to hammer a big bet right now because the odds are tasty for
well,
you.
out of the 12 teams that either one of our 12 teams, I think Notre Dame has probably the easiest schedule, along with Indiana, I believe. So, is it possible they're gonna make the playoffs? Yeah, just based off a name alone, they might make the playoffs. But I certainly don't think at this moment they deserve it. But if they beat USC, if they beat Navy convincingly, then sure, maybe they can make a case for that. They are playing a little bit better than they were earlier, so it's not so much of a stretch to say that they're a bad team.
Yeah, and then my first few teams out. Again, we have a lot of the same teams around, just moved around. I've got BYU just out. I think BYU is going to end up losing 2 games this year, and they're both going to be to Texas Tech, and that's going to be enough to keep them out. Um, it'll be an interesting argument over that fifth SEC team versus BYU if they lose both games to Texas Tech. But if they lose twice to the same team, that's they had their chances. I've got Vandy right behind that. Like I said, I could see Vandy sneaking into the playoff, but right now I've got them just out. I've got UVA right outside that spot as well. Like I said, I UVA, their schedule is just not. It's not a schedule that will get them in if they don't win the ACC. Like they have no chance if they don't win the ACC. I'm sorry, a second loss for that team won't do it. But they'll be right outside, and then gonna get a little freaky here. I'm taking Iowa. I think Iowa is going under the radar, and they're going to be a team. Watch what happens this weekend when they play Oregon, but I think Iowa is going to end up just outside the playoff when it's all said and done.
Speaking of Iowa, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was watching a Twitter highlight, and it said Iowa going deep for a 30-yard pass, and I thought to myself, Iowa can pass the ball now? What year are we in? What is
Look,
happening?
I've been hyping up Gronowski at Iowa. I my One of my buddies is a diehard Iowa fan. I said, "Hey, this guy is going to be the best quarterback that y'all have had in 30 years."
Not
I've
the high
looked
money.
pretty dumb so far this season. It's a low bar, but he's looked pretty awful. But he's starting to turn it around. Iowa's starting to play Iowa football again. Kirk Ferentz does what Kirk Ferentz does. Iowa's going to end the season with 9 wins. It's what they do. It's Iowa football. Again, I'm calling it right now. Iowa over Oregon this weekend. Iowa's going to play themselves into contention.
You ready for some chaos? We'll end the video with this. USC beats Notre Dame. Iowa beats Oregon. That will throw the entire picture into chaos. I need it.